Yeah.
Well, happy Fempreneur Friday, everyone. It is a beautiful day. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. So, oh my God, I'm so glad you put the title on the page this
Yeah.
time. But yes, today our topic is personal authority. And we were trying to decide what topic we were going to talk about this week. And we were like, what do we talk about? And Stacy said something about authenticity, and I said something about personal authority. But I think the two go hand in hand, and especially are important in business and entrepreneurship. So we wanted to talk about that and dive in because, like, owning who you are, doing you to the fullest is like super important to your career.
Right.
So yeah, do you want to
Yeah.
start it off,
Yeah.
Stacy?
Some of the things that I just kind of feel about that, about just even personal authority, is like checking into where you are compare like there's all the other things like first things that come up is like what we're not doing or what like hinders us from doing that, right? And some of the things that came up to me right away is just like comparison, like looking at everyone else's things before you create. You could feel like, oh my God, like I've felt this way. It's like, oh
Yes.
no, like is this me or is this someone else's? Is this my what I'm saying? So first thing is like to it's kind of like what you digest, like what you bring in, right? What you bring in, you're bringing in a lot, and like, oh my gosh, you can be so full.
Right.
But if you're not digesting, if you're not like putting out, it can feel like so overwhelming because you're just so overwhelmed with all this other content that's going on, and it's hard to like
Right.
find what your voice is. So
Right. I
like,
mean, I feel like that's, and then that kind of feeling can like manifest into imposter syndrome, or like can lead you down this road of just like constant comparison. And like you can't really create from an authentic place when you're constantly like comparing yourself,
yeah,
or in the state of like, just that's a state of lack, honestly, like because it's like you keep looking at other people's things or other people's ideas, and the more and more you're doing that, it's like you're progressively unraveling your own good, your own progress, your own authenticity.
right. So it's like so great to like put something out there and like, kind of like watching how you consume, right? Because we can consume so much and then be so full that we don't have any room for our own. So yeah,
Exactly.
so it's like
Yeah, I've been
before
thinking
you
about,
consume.
yeah.
Yeah.
And especially in the context
Hi,
of
Kat.
for,
Okay.
what do you say?
I know, I was just saying hi. Some
Oh,
people coming on.
it was
Oh,
breaking
some
up,
familiar
it was breaking
faces.
up for a second.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, I was gonna say, especially in the context of like being a visual artist, I feel like that's really important. Like because when I was first starting out, I feel like I would look at other artists, their work, their body of work, and just like, oh, like how can I do that? How can I find my own style? Like, when am I gonna get there? But
Right.
like at a point, I just feel like I was so like invested in like what other people are creating, and because of that what I should create, that
Right.
like it took away from my own individuality and my own authenticity, because it's like it unraveled like what I could create on my own if I just kind of like would unplug, sit down and actually like create what is within here and what has been gifted to me. Because like when we do have talents, when we have gifts, when we have entrepreneurial gifts, it's like those are sent from the universe like to us to
Right.
carry out.
Right.
And so when we're looking at like other people, what other people are doing, and like what other people's work looks like, it's essentially like we're not trusting the universe, we're not
Mhm.
giving faith to higher power, we're not giving faith to just like ourselves, we're not trusting ourselves. It's like we're looking externally for answers that are already within, for greatness that is already within.
Right.
And I feel like
Um,
it's just like, yeah, and it's so profound because you don't realize like every day, like if your attention is everything, and like your attention generates like results and generates where you're gonna end up or be. And it's just like if your attention is constantly focused on other people and what other people are doing and other people's like work, etc., then like you're just progressively unraveling your own good and your own work and your own potential. How to say it like that.
Yeah,
But
that's
yeah,
really good. And then, and then we do kind of like get into a like showing up how others expect us to, or how we think others expect us to show up instead of
that's key.
genuinely who we are. And when we're showing up in the expectation of what we think other people are expect, then we already have on this mask, right? And like there's already a disconnect and congruency. Like they can feel the congruency of like, this just doesn't feel complete.
Congruency. I
It
like
doesn't
that
feel
word.
connected, right? And then the thing is, like, we get the exact thing that plays into our cycle of like, oh, you see, I'm not good enough, or I'm not this. It's because actually you're not giving them you. And you think that
Right.
it's you, but it's like literally not you that's showing up.
Right. And
So,
I've realized that like just during this time, this crazy like societal time we're in, this post-pandemic, but I mean it's still kind of happening. So this weird, time we're in, I feel like a lot of people's masks, like you said, have been like coming off. Like you see people like in a different light. And I think a lot of that is due to the fact that just like people are afraid of their own authenticity. People are afraid of standing in their own power and truly owning their authenticity, because it is scary. Like it's scary to stand out on your own and like not work from a model of like what other people are doing, or how the next person ran their business this way or created this art collection this way. Like just standing in yourself on your own and working from like that light within, instead of like grabbing from external things to like pull into like what you're creating, is just, it's super powerful, but it's also very scary. Like it's a scary thing to do. And so people have been, I feel like, avoiding their own authenticity. And so now like these masks coming off of people it's just really showing that like, oh wait, you're not maybe you're like genuinely or purely creative, because you're probably only looking for external things to create your resources, to create your business, to make it grow. And I think that shows, and especially like now with just things shifting in the world, the vibration being super high, it makes it so clear like who is who's doing the work, who's doing the inner work, and it's showing up in their work, or people who are just relying on the external or other people to tell them what to do, or the past of how society has been to do what they want to do. But that's not authenticity, and it's not really owning your own power.
mm, okay, I love this. Definitely just like owning your own power, owning your own, like part of it is like personal responsibility and noticing when you're not, because we are talking about this, but we also all have to kind of like walk our own journey of like sometimes like not being in this. Like that's how you get pointed to the right direction.
Right.
And like something I was saying recently, I don't know if I said it last week, but I was talking about like the map not being the territory, but basically like that our emotions and things that's going on is actually pointing us to the direction that we're going. So like basically what helps, especially if this doesn't like is not making sense yet, right? Like
Right.
what helps is like seeing the inauthenticity, seeing all those things come up, seeing where you're like, dang, I'm putting this out, but I'm not getting what it is that I want, right?
Right. And asking those
Um,
questions, like, why am I not, like,
yeah,
why am I
exactly.
not seeing these results that I want? Why am I
Right,
not where I want to be with my career, with my business? Like,
right.
why? But a lot of that is like what you said before, like just investing too much in other people, of the world. It's like you can be in the world, but not be of the world, like, and that's how you have to like move, I feel like, in conscious entrepreneurship, which is what we talk about weekly. But yeah, like it's so important. It's so key. And it's like, because you don't realize like every time you like take your attention, take a moment out of your day to like focus on these external things, like you're scrolling, you're looking at this person's page, that person's page, oh my god, look at they did, feeling some type of way. Every time you're doing that, it's like you're backtracking yourself, you're backtracking your own success, you're backtracking your own personal authority, your own authenticity. And it's like when you take the reins and like start walking in your own authority, walking in your own presence, then things start to shift, and then you can build it back. But it's like we don't realize that we're like siphoning like our own power. We don't realize that we are backtracking and regressing our own power often. And Like it's just, and it can create you to be stagnant in your career, I feel like, you know, if you're completely investing in others, or, you know, things that are just not yourself, don't feel like you know?
Yeah, where it just doesn't feel aligned.
Yeah.
So do you have an example in your life that like you had to either take personal authority or responsibility and like things changed?
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess I'll use my art company. So I have a nonprofit, but then I also have, you know, my own art business. And for me, it's like just building up my own, you know, career collection, you know, being in shows, whatever, my own career as an artist. Like it's been such a journey because you know, I had many blockages, you know, from just being the artist that I could ultimately be. Like I have anxiety sometimes, or, you know, I've dealt with just things in life that have backtracked me and, you know, made me like feel blocked. But yeah, when I look back on those times, you know, when I felt the most like blocked, it's because I like I've had, you know, kind of imposter syndrome, just been like, oh my God, like look at this person's collection. Look at how this person, how many followers this person has, or how much this person is growing. Like how do I become that or whatever? When it's really like I had to take the reins and be like, wait a minute, but you already are that. Like you already have all that within you. You just need to own that frequency instead of glamorizing and praising and like and only investing in other people's, you know, because like how other people ultimately like become successful or, you know, build their art careers is not necessarily how I want to do it. And for me, it's like conscious entrepreneurship and like conscious artistry. Like I believe that like it's not sustainable if you don't have those building blocks and those foundations of consciousness, you know, those foundations of like, you know, just that inner peace, inner love, inner strength, inner guidance, because I think that that is really what is going to sustain us in this new world that we're moving into. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you know what, Brett? That sounded really relevant. And then also just would you say like about like looking at what they were doing, you know,
Yeah,
coming back to your own authenticity. And also another big thing you said is like just not wanting to do it the way that they did it, right?
right,
And it's like I know people say this over and over, but we're looking at someone's, you know, 5 year down the line of whatever road
right,
they had to be in, and their 11th year, and they were like, "Oh my God, like my
right,
life is not like that." And then the thing is, like, would you want to walk what she walked? Would you want to do what
right.
she did? Would you want to live her life? Would you want to be in her body? Like all of those things. And then
No.
that can be so distracting, right? That can be so distracting. And then it's just like, oh wow, like I have my life and what I have to the table. And then just like who you serve is not who she was meant to serve. And who you serve
Right,
is like waiting for you to
right.
get there and be there because like
Or
they
he,
can't get they can't receive the same message from this person.
yeah,
Um
exactly. It's just, and it's just like, yeah, like literally you have to question that and ask yourself that, like, would I want to like live like, you know, this person ultimately? Do I really want that for my career? And I feel like for me, I've taken my time with my artistry. I've taken my time with like my entrepreneurial goals and with my nonprofit. But I've taken my time with it because I feel like foundation and layering foundation is just so important. And like I didn't want to, you know, fully you know, like be at like, you know, the quote unquote top of your career, and then finding out like, oh my God, I don't have this authenticity. Like, oh my God, I'm not really in fully in love with myself, or oh my God, I don't really have presence, or something like that. Because so many things are thrown at you when your career grows, when you level up. Like, you know, haters come in, circumstances come in to test you, like universal attacks, just a test if you really want it. And if you don't have the building blocks, like, you know, just like the basics of just like loving yourself, of like being able to be present and now, and to sit with yourself in the silence, and to like, you know, really just like own and believe in who you are and what you can do. It's like when those things, those storms come your way, you're not going to be able to weather them. And I want a sustainable career that will last. I want to be like a little old lady, still successful, you know, like, and happy. And I think that when, you know,
Hi
that was a
Tiffany.
funny visual in my head. Hi,
Uh-huh.
Tiffy. But yeah, I think that it's just so important. Like, sustainable success really does require that consciousness, that tapping in with yourself, you know? And
Mm.
like, when you don't have that, you can't really be authentic. Like, you can't really sustain, and thus you cannot walk in your own personal authority, because like that is just owning your shit completely, you know? Do you
Mm.
want to share that quote that you shared with me?
What did
The
I say?
fertilizer one?
Oh my gosh, yes. So my actually this is from Roy Red. He's amazing.
Oh,
He's one of my friends. He's an author as well. And he posted a quote the other day and it said, yeah, make your shit your fertilizer. So I was like, oh shit, yes.
yeah. And
So
that's like,
so true.
because it's
Um
transmuting it, you know?
yeah, exactly. And you know what? It makes so much sense because that's what it does. Like that's what it does. It catapults us into the next, thing that we're supposed to be in. It really serves us a purpose of building muscle, building strength, figuring out some awareness. And literally those are the only times that have like the resistance enough for you to like build the muscle. So
Right.
I love that he said that. And also it just reminded me of like, what I love is just like about turning pain into power. But the way that you can do that is same thing what we're talking about and make your shit your fertilizer. Yeah. The way that you can do that is taking personal responsibility. Cause like even in my past relationship, which you'll find in my book, I can say like I can villainize the person that I was with. I can talk about all the things that happened, all the things that he didn't do, and all the things that he did do, and all this stuff. But at the end of the day, the only way that I was able to like really ground myself and gain my power is realize that actually he was with someone that
Mm,
was unconfident, didn't have my personal authority, wasn't able to
right.
hold boundaries,
Right.
and it was me, like I was the common denominator in all of those relationships that didn't work.
Right.
So,
And like, but when you get to that point, I feel like, and when you get to that realization of like, oh my God, I wasn't walking in my personal authority then,
yeah,
or, like, maybe I have been unraveling the good of my career by focusing too much on other people, other companies, other businesses.
yeah,
Like, when you get to that point, I think it's important to just not be too hard on yourself,
yeah,
because, like, if you're too hard on yourself and you just are like, oh my God, why did I do this? Why is my career not moving? Why did I do this in that relationship or whatever it
yeah,
is? Like, if you just keep being in that negative zone, you're only going to snowball that negativity. And you're
yes,
only going to create more negativity in yourself and thus your entrepreneurial career. Like, so it's like you have to take a moment and be like, damn, well, I did do that shit and that did happen, shit. But like, I'm gonna move forward from it, and I'm gonna grow from it, and I'm only gonna become stronger, because like I have come to this realization that like, yeah, I can walk in my own personal authority, and like that trumps everything else, you know?
right,
Like, once you realize that and come to that light bulb realization, it's like everything shifts, because you're like, I don't even need all these external things, like all
right,
this, hey, Destiny,
right,
like, but all these, things are already within me, like, and I don't need to like depend on what other people are doing with their businesses or companies for that validation. Like, I can give myself that validation and continue to walk in my personal authority, but it's important to give yourself grace in that, and
right,
not be hard on yourself, like positive self-talk, like, just be like, okay, that happened, but I'm still bomb. I'm still great. Like,
yeah,
I still got self-love. I still can do this. I got this,
yes,
and if you can't get in that own mindset of yours, then like into other things, like do affirmations, like invest in a course. Stacy's
yeah,
all about her courses.
yeah,
But yeah, like, just find other ways to get yourself out of that negativity, because nothing is going to continue to grow from that negativity either, so.
yeah. And just that's so on the mark. I would just reiterate same thing what you said is just like I always talk about reframing regrets. Like literally, if you were gonna go, if you
Reframing.
went back and had that same experience, like you think you would have done something different, but actually you would have done the exact same thing because you were operating out of your experience, out of the knowledge that you had at the time. So
Right.
actually, if someone put you right back, you would have done the exact same thing. So that always helped me to like free up how I felt about saying
Yeah,
that
because
thing.
well, the
And the
universe
second
gives
thing,
us.
sorry, real quick,
Sorry,
but
go ahead.
the real quick is just like the second thing is like we have that as a board. Like that's the board that we're crossing or that we need a break, let's say. Right.
Yes.
And like if we're not coming against that board, then there's nothing there for us to see ourselves, right? So it's like the
Yes.
only way that we like got a chance to like see ourselves, see what wasn't available, see how we can like literally work against that and break that and get to the next level. So I'm
Right.
so
And
thankful, I'm so thankful for the experience. And
me too,
um
and that's so important. Well,
yeah.
like we said this earlier, like before we got on this call, we were talking about how important gratitude is. So that's really huge in that, and can help you give yourself grace in realizing, like, wow, maybe I wasn't walking in my personal authority all this time. But I think also piggybacking off of what you said, like the universe gives us what we need for our growth
Yes.
at that moment. So, like,
Like, why
yeah,
did you
if
call
you,
in that partner? Why did you call in this business? Why did you call
yeah.
in this thing to work with?
Yeah, because you are
Yeah.
really doing that. And you have to like come to that realization, like, yeah, whatever this circumstance is, be it uncomfortable, be it unbearable, it's like you called it in, or the universe may have called it in for your own growth.
Right.
And you have to realize, like, okay, this is happening for a reason. I may not see that reason now, but like maybe if I trust it, maybe if I keep walking in that faith, then yeah, it will get me closer to that personal authority and owning that, because it is a process. Like, I'm not just gonna say like one day you just wake up, well maybe, but like it comes with work. You have to do the inner work to really like hone in to that, to yourself, to that personal authority, like being able to like walk in who and what you are, and like being able to like say really what you mean, regardless of like your family, regardless of like what judgmental friends or people may say or think. And like that's scary, but it's like it's a process, and it's a process like that is just so valuable, because I feel like it elevates and up levels your life in every way once you really do. And it's beautiful to see. Like, I love seeing you, Stacey, like, start like, like when you started, way back when, like, with your book, and really like owning your personal authority. Like, it was just so exciting and inspiring to see, because I mean, well, me and Stacey were college roommates, so like we've literally grown through like everything together, and for whatever reasons, like throughout the years, we've always, I feel like, I thought about this yesterday, have been on the same frequency, like, and we've been on the same vibration. And though circumstances in our lives might be externally different, like a lot of them have been very similar.
Right.
And so just seeing like, your growth, and like how you wrote this novel, and you're like changing women's lives, and you're just like speaking out more and posting yourself more. Like, I love to see that. And like, it's just, I think when you see other people really own their own personal authority, it helps you do the same and to be able to walk in your own power.
Love that. Yeah, love that. And just like that, our stories are so important. And even just like the failing of it and not figure, love
Yeah.
that. And this is the constant reframing of utilization of negativity that comes up, allows us to level up over time. Yes, constantly trusting in your authority. Oh, trusting. We were talking about that earlier, and just surrendering to the thing. Oh my God.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's really an exercise in trusting yourself.
Right.
And for me, it took a long time. It took a long time for me to trust myself, because I felt like I was listening to external people tell me that I don't have like, that I can't do this, that's not possible, that like I'm aiming too high. But what if it's like that might be impossible for you, but that is not impossible for me. Like, this is my life, it's my authority, and I have the power to own it and walk in it. And it's a rough and kind of complicated journey, but it's so rewarding, because like with it comes so much inner peace, and with it comes like when you're alone, and now like when I'm alone now, I just feel I feel good. I feel at peace. Uh-oh, my light went out. I feel so, like just thankful and grateful to come here, to be here, happy to be here. There we go.
Love that. Actually, this reminds me of something really like I have a group that I'm working with called Desire on Fire. They're amazing. And one of the things one of the coaches was talking about, Ellie, she was just like, what part of us gets off on like having what we have, like even if we don't want it, right? So like,
right,
that's part of personal authority too. Just like whoa, there's some things though that we still hold on to that actually though we like get off on having it. Like having it is more like we're so much more attached to having that than having the thing sometimes that even we desire, because like a fear, like we're so used to holding the
Yeah.
like it just feels so much like cozier, even though you feel like it's
Yes.
horrible.
Yeah.
It feels so comfortable because like that's the known, that's what you know. Like I remember, yeah, if I just think about like my relationships or like a job or whatever I felt was toxic, it just felt like that was normal, you know, that
Yeah.
I was used to
Because
that instead of
your
like stepping
mind.
out and what's gonna happen, like who was I without these things?
Right. And
So
it's so interesting to get to that point, you know, when you realize like, wait, am I addicted to like this low level feeling? Like, am I addicted to fear? Am I addicted to drama? Am I addicted to this? Like, and you know, you very may well could be, but
yeah,
it's like owning that
yeah,
is also key in owning your personal authority. Like when you own the hard stuff, like the
yeah,
stuff that isn't necessarily like glamorous and is kind of icky about yourself, like
yeah.
the shadow stuff within you, when you start owning that and owning up to that, then it's like then you can transmute it. Then you can do
Yes.
the whole fertilizer thing. What's the quote?
I was like, oh yeah, what is it? It's use
But
this
you know,
shit
then you can turn
as
that
your
shit and
fertilizer.
yeah, the fertilizer. Yeah.
Yeah,
And like that's when you know, then that's when shift starts to happen. But you have to realize like, okay, well, you know, I might have you just gotta be real with yourself. Like really that's it.
yes.
Being real with yourself is so
I'm
key.
putting Roy's thing there just in case. Like
Yeah.
just want to shout him
That's good.
out in case he comes.
Yeah.
Um, because he's awesome too. Um,
But yeah, I don't know. I think that I'm kind of content. Like
oh yeah, we're kind of complete with this.
we are complete, we are content. But yeah, I think that that's it. And you know, like so this coming week, we encourage you guys all to really just like try to walk in and own your personal authority, because I feel like when we set that goal for ourselves, like yeah, it's you know like we kind of uprooted some things and shifted some things, and like some crazy circumstances happened in our own lives, but you know the universe will always give you what you need for your highest and best version of yourself and your personal growth. So it's like even when stuff hard stuff happens, it's like you have to embrace it. Like, okay, well, this is going to help me walk in my personal authority even more. Well, this is going to help me get to this next level. So, like, why not embrace it? You know?
Yeah. That just reminded me because I love that you're saying, yeah, kind of like what to practice. And I would say to add to that is, like an expression of that would be to say the relevant things. Sometimes we're saying, oh, actually, the same group, Desire and Fire, they were talking about just like on one side, we're saying like the top level conversation, but like what's actually the real thing? You know, what's the real conversation? And part of that could be expressing like what it is that you really want or how you really feel, or what you really need, what kind of support you really need, those types of things. That's been a practice for me, and that continues to be a practice. Like I'm used to making sure everybody's okay, and like I feel like not the okay one, you know?
Right.
And
I do that all the time.
yeah, so
you got to pull it back
into like what's really needed or what you really want. And something that I remember is just like when we say the thing that we want, or we say the desire we want, let's say, or whatever it is, it's so scary because it's like the other side could like not do it, right? Like they don't want to do it, or it's a possibly you can get rejected or whatever it is, but it's 50% chance. But like if you don't say anything, it's 100% chance that you won't get the thing that you want,
right,
or won't have like the support you need or whatever it
right,
is. And actually it just ends up leaving you in more resentment for the other
right,
person, for the opportunity, for whatever it is, by not saying anything.
right.
You're
And then it's like you
actually
have an empty
carrying so
cup.
much more energy than whatever it is. So
Right,
yeah.
right. Yeah, and I mean, yeah, that's completely valid. And I think when with that, it's like then you end up with this like, you know, empty cup, and then you have to work to like refill that cup of yourself, you know, like refill that inner work, refill that inner love for yourself, refill that strength. And then it's like when you do get to that point of like, you know, really being confident in who you are, really being confident in what you're doing, really being confident and trusting, you know, the inner versus like the outer and the worldly, you know, then it's just important to make sure that like what you're pouring into others, you know, they're also pouring back into you. Yeah. And like then it's like that's another level. Like you got to realize like, okay, well, maybe these people aren't pouring into me like how I want, or maybe this situation isn't pouring into me how I want, and how do I adjust that? How do I change that? But asking these questions, once you ask yourself these questions, that's really like owning and walking in your personal authority, I feel like.
Right. All right, sounds amazing. Well, thank you for joining us for another Fempreneur Friday, which we just talk about conscious entrepreneurship. We totally love your energy here coming on with us. You can follow me at Stacey Doreen or Brett at Brett Sims, or both of us, our businesses where we really hold a lot more spaces like this, at The Exalted Woman and at Stuck Designs. So, you know, feel free to connect. Yeah, just like a job. Feel free to connect with us. We're here every Friday, 9:30 Pacific time, 12:30 Eastern time.
AM.
And we look forward to seeing you guys again next week.
Yes, and have the most beautiful day. Own your shit, walk in your personal authority, and don't let nobody tell you nothing. Like, you got this. You own you, you know? Like, yes. And you are the power, and you need to realize that